All right, welcome back to our second serve coverage. Are we on for a couple more hours? We go big screen because now we're adding a fourth to the desk, and we love to go.
She's here.
So for everyone to know, if you were joining us last week, we had Lauren Embree call in, and we got a former WTA player turned entrepreneur, a baller at the University of Florida. You got to know that. Gators, All-American, national champion.
Yeah, right over left.
I'm a Tennessee fan. I cannot do the Gator chop. My hands actually just do not make that motion, as I've told Ben Shelton 1,000 times. But SEC is very cool, I'll give you.
Yeah, I think we have that in common at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to watch some tennis in a little bit, but we're going to get a different perspective as well. I was just mentioning you're now an entrepreneur. We have Embree Wellness. Go to embreewellness.org if you want to check it out. Maybe just a little, just information for the fans at home. When did that begin? What's your focus on?
Sure.
And what are these services you offer to all the clients out there?
Yeah, so I was once a tennis player, now pivoted more all towards functional medicine and nutrition. Started my own company. It's really just to a lot of the things I wish I knew when I was an athlete about the power of nutrition and how you can fuel your body to either feel pretty good or not so good. So really helping athletes, organizations, clubs, just your general population just feel better and fuel a little bit stronger through the dietary choices that they make every single day, and just trying to keep it as simple as possible.
And what does functional mean for nutrition?
Yeah, so functional holistic health is really just trying to find the root cause of whatever it is that's starting to appear, whether we're like tired, whether we have aches and pains, whether we have symptoms after we eat, and just trying to find the right foods that are right for you, because it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's very individualized. So just trying to tap into that for the client and make them just really like feel optimal.
So Skittles and a brownie might be good for him,
God.
but
Don't
not
hide
for
the other
everyone.
gummies.
But not
Show
for
them all
everyone,
off.
right? I mean,
You've got
not
a
for
whole
me.
collection.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
This is a joke.
Wow,
over
Mary.
here.
It's unbelievable.
Okay, if you're someone like Chiz who loves a sweet, what would you tell him to do to keep awake? This is a 4-hour show, so I understand. You need the sugar high.
Thank you.
I'm
And
not
I just
knocking
like
you.
Yeah, no, everyone can have their sugar every once in a while. No, there's no problem
But
with
this is
that.
every day.
This is, yeah. I mean, we can find the alternative, which we're going to do before I leave here. I'm going to give you the alternative sugar that's going to just make you feel a little bit better. You're not going to crash.
But where did
Thank you.
first get into this? Obviously, you played, so obviously you can firsthand speak to what maybe helped you. But at what point did your mind switch and say, you know what, this is where I want to go? Was there a specific moment that you remember?
Yes, I was 22 years old, just leaving college, like going on tour, and just the stress of that combined with like the overtraining sometimes, combined with like trying to figure out what to eat on the road, had my body just in like a chronic inflammatory state, and quickly figured out that the diet that I was eating, which was just like your normal college athlete diet, like we feel like we can eat anything we want because we're outputting so much, I quickly realized that as soon as I avoided certain food groups like gluten, dairy, soy, sugar, added sugar, I felt so much better, and on court I was so much better, and I had a game that was not like going to hit a bunch of winners, so I had to be out there a long time, so I had to always find like the other 2%, 3% that was just like a little bit more, so that's where I really started, and then just took off from there.
What was your vice at the time that you needed? It took you a second
Still
to
my
get
life.
over.
Yeah. Gluten, like bread and carbs, because we are very programmed to be like eat
have
fuel.
those.
Yes, to have those for energy, but there's other carbohydrate sources that could actually take you a little bit farther and not cause so much inflammation in our body and injuries. Like I was injured not that often, but I had my fair share. So as soon as I tapped into the nutrition, my body felt like I could go forever.
And it's so interesting because, when you start super, super young, it's always that triangle, right? And the carbs are on the very bottom that you're supposed to have the most of, the breads, the pastas,
Totally.
and all of that. And I remember it wasn't until I got into about college, so I played college basketball, but it wasn't until around that time where I realized that it was working one way for my teammates that maybe were built a little bit smaller than I was, and realizing that maybe I'm not supposed to have as much of this to push me through these 3-hour plus long practices.
Totally, and every sport is so different, right? Like basketball is going to be fueled a little bit different than tennis, as in track, as in football, basketball. So just trying to like figure out specifically what works best for you is going to be very different than what works best for me. And just like it makes such a huge difference if you can just tap into that a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
let's tap into this match. George Hijikata. We're back
Tar
in
Heel,
Winston-Salem.
baby.
We're back on the campus, Lauren. We're at Wake Forest University. How about a quick thought on McCartney Kessler? We just watched her match point. You have a relationship with her. Her third ever WTA Tour
Amazing.
win. That's a big deal.
Yeah, she's not only an incredible human, she was such a gem to coach. She works super hard. Like, I'm just so proud of her and happy that she's having all this success, because I know it was not easy when she was in college, and I know she was battling between whether to turn pro or just, she's super smart, so she had a degree at Florida to go to PA school, and I'm just so glad she went with giving this a shot, because now she's absolutely crushing it, and she has great momentum going into the Open, so I'm just like super excited to see what she can do.
Well, you told me she had about the diet of a 5-year-old. So what did you help
sorry,
her change? No, we had her on the show last week, and we talked about that diet of a 5-year-old. But what did you help her kind of maybe change in that to help the way she feels?
Yeah, like she does all of the things off court, great, but her, like, our diet in college, it's just hard. Like, we have access to so many things, not knowing, so just educating her. I traveled a lot with her when I first got to Florida. It was just her and I, so we spent a lot of time together talking about that stuff, and she was eventually just like asking me questions, and I know that when they start to ask, they're at least thinking about it, so that made me really happy, and she's figured it out, obviously. She's super fit, but yeah, it was just like, it was cool to see the trajectory, because it started off, you know, a little rough.
And playing at Florida, being the assistant coach on the women's team, tell us a little bit about Ben Shelton and Brian Shelton, his dad. Kind of how you love that relationship. What do you think about Ben, and how's his diet?
Yeah. Oh God.
Call 'em out.
Two different topics here. The Sheltons are an amazing family. We actually had Emma on our team as well.
Yes.
So just walking into that facility and having Brian next to me as like a mentor and just a friend, and watching them work super hard. I mean, obviously he crushed it at Florida. He won a national championship. Ben is killing it, which is not surprising. So they are like family to me. Again, just so happy to see him do so well. Obviously he has more talent than, you know, his talent is through the roof, but just even better person. So just like wanted to cheer really hard for that family and those people.
What do you love about Brian's coaching style? Because he seems like an amazing coach for his son Ben, and obviously was an amazing coach at the University of Florida as well.
Yes. Well, Brian too, like he is just, he has the chemistry with every single guy, and he coaches everybody differently. And he knows what works, and he sticks with that way. And it's just, he got those guys to buy in and work super hard. He has a system. It obviously works, and he has a bunch of success. But he was just such a player's coach. Like, he just got along with everybody, and the guys respected him so much, so they just played their hearts out for him.
Coached women and men. I mean,
Yeah.
he was able to coach both. And I
Georgia
think
Tech.
if you can, Georgia Tech, I feel like if you can kind of tap into both types of athletes, like that just shows what I could not sing Brian Shelton's praises more either. I only know him through getting to see him around Ben, and just such a sweet guy, and that is why Ben handles himself so well. Anytime he comes up to the Tennis Channel desk, he's always funny, he's personable, he's a superstar. I keep saying it. As soon as he wins a slam or something like that, I think his superstar power just goes absolutely through the roof, because he's likable.
Totally.
Very likable, big smile, big personality. Maybe people don't like the hanging up of the phone situation, but I like it. Just throw a little bit of juice in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Character and fun.
Phil, tennis can always get iffy when it comes to the parent-kid relationship, junior tennis, but it's really nice to see that one working really well. So we're just settling in. We're going to watch some tennis. We'll get some more thoughts on this matchup right here between Hijikata and Chorst. We're hanging out with Lauren Embree for at least the next 30 minutes or an hour, so keep it here. Watch some tennis, and maybe you'll learn a few things. We'll just get going here on the second match of the day in Winston-Salem. There's Borna Coric, top part of your screen, and these two players are at completely different parts, not really of their career, but as far as form. For Coric, this guy was as high as 12 in the world. This time last year, he was 16 in the world, but right now he's 87. He slipped, but he just came off a big-time win over Sebastian Baez, who's the defending champ and the top seed, and for Hijikata, and I'm sure Nick will give you more info on that because he's a former Tar Heel. Right now he's ranked 65 in the world. That's a career high. We're just mentioning whenever you're at that career high, you're feeling really good, obviously. Coric is a guy who suffered a lot of injuries in the last couple of years. He missed a full year with a shoulder from March of 2021 to March of 2022.
And then what did he do, Chiz? He went and won Cincinnati.
Yes.
And it was insane. Came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Yeah, he had hired a new coach. Mate Delic was actually one of his friends that he hired a month before Cincinnati, and then came in there feeling good and positive, and then wins the title.
This is a player that beat Nadal in 2014 when he was 17 years old. That same week in Basel, he beat Ernest Gulbis. Remember him? He was ranked 13 in the world.
How can you forget Ernest?
So this is a former junior world #1. You can remind fans, this is someone people thought mainstay top 10, maybe fighting #1 in the world, and he's gotten close to there, but now he's slipped a little bit. Let's see if he can get it back.
Yeah, look, I mean, he was one of those guys, as you said, everyone thought he'd stay kind of top 10. He's always been a consistent counterpuncher. He's able to go from defense to offense pretty well. But yeah, the ranking kind of went up and down. And, look, now he's playing against a guy, Rinky Hijikata, that played 2 years at the University of North Carolina before turning pro. And Rinky is very similar to Leighton Hewitt. He looks up to Leighton in as far as the fighting mentality. So he just kind of grinds out there every single point. He's willing to die out there 3-4 hours, whatever it might take. We talk a lot about Rinky's work ethic. He still lives in Chapel Hill, trains there with the team. And actually during COVID, he played one of the tournaments. He had to isolate. And so then he started running 7 miles around his yard when he got home. He started running 7 miles around his yard just to get
mini circles.
Yeah, just mini circles. Literally just mini circles around his yard just to get the fitness in. Nothing was going to keep him down. And I think that's one thing about Rinky, and that's why he is where he is now. And he's only going to continue going up. 23 years old, 65 in the world.
Lauren, you can talk about this. Rinky, he played like 2 or 3, I think. Were there players when you were coaching that you could kind of see, hey, this person has it, they can go pro? Maybe they didn't. Did it matter so much about where they played in the lineup? What were you looking for as far as making that transition if they wanted to?
Yeah, as a player, I played with a bunch of girls who left after 2 or 3 years, like Mallory Burdett, Nicole Gibbs, all of these pros that had a lot of success on tour, but they won the NCAAs, the individuals, and a lot of times when Americans win that, it's kind of like their exit. Like Alexa Noel just did that. So I just think you get so much better in college by going like a year or 2 and developing. Like you see Ben Shelton and all of these people going through that college experience, it just makes you grow. So I think if you have a lot of success, then definitely yes. But that's kind of like the gauge is how well they do it, NCAA's individuals. And I don't know if you saw, but they changed the date to that now.
Yes.
It's like the end of November. So that might give people more of a push to play these fall tournaments so that they can get into that tournament and have a chance to win it.
Look, a lot of these players are looking for that edge, and as we're going into the U.S. Open, especially on the men's side, they're going to have to play 3 out of 5 sets. Being that you're focusing on nutrition right now, what are some good kind of pre-match meals for these players that are going to have to play 3 out of 5 sets, and how early should they eat that meal?
Totally, and this is like such a specific thing for girls and guys, but the men sometimes who have longer matches, it's so important to get like a good first meal, probably 2 to 3 hours in before your match, so you're not feeling super heavy on court, and then for every hour that you're out there, you need a good 30 to 45 grams of carbohydrates, and that's where like a simple carbohydrate, those gels, some fruit, something that just is easy to digest to give you that sugar spike, so you're not, set 4 or 5 crashing because you just don't have the glycogen and the glucose kind of replenishing. So it's super important pre, post, and during to make sure that you're like tapping into the right kind of foods.
And post-match, a lot of players, I was one that I'd get on the bike right after the match and kind of get the protein shake in me right away. Kind of, is that what you should do? I mean, should you get a protein shake in your system within 45 minutes, an hour, or what should you do after a match to be ready for the next day?
Yeah, and this is also very individualized. For girls and guys can be a little bit different, but ideally within an hour you want to get some sort of protein. It doesn't have to be like right when you're walking off the court, somebody hands you a protein shake and you have to down it because you're probably not that hungry, like right off the court.
Oh, I was. I was like, boom. I was ready.
Yeah, some people are so stressed that they just don't have the
yeah.
appetite yet. But if you can get, for girls, probably need to get a little bit quicker.
15 to 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's about 30 to
Typically around
45 is the window.
30 to 45.
Guys can wait a little bit longer and still not be as sore
What's the time?
or as they have about 3 to 4 hour window.
3 to 4
So
hours.
anything under
Wow.
that, you're still good. But you want to make sure if you're going to really load those complex carbohydrates after too, because you've just maxed out all your muscles and all your
Wow.
muscle fibers. So if you don't recover properly, you're just going to be tired, sore, under-recovered, might not perform the best the next day.
Do you have a preference on type of protein? Obviously, there's pea protein. You've got your whey
Great
proteins.
question.
What's your favorite type of protein to?
Yeah,
advise people to take?
love this question. And some people have dietary restrictions, but in a perfect world, if you can get some whey protein or a beef protein or whey protein isolate, that has all of the the amino acids, the complete proteins, whereas like a vegan or a pea or a hemp, you're missing some of those, so they're a bit incomplete. You're still going to get some benefits
So
from that.
grass-fed is incomplete? Better to have
Grass-fed's
the-
complete.
Oh, grass-fed's complete. Okay.
A vegan, like a plant-based,
Gotcha.
Plant-based one.
pea-based,
Perfect.
hemp-based is incomplete. So you're missing some of these 9 complete amino acids that our body does not make naturally. We need to get them through outside sources.
Isn't there a bit of a milk component in the whey protein, though? So does that work adversely to people that maybe don't do well with milk products?
Yes, and again, like super specific. So yes, a whey protein isolate takes the casein, which is the milk protein that people are allergic to or sensitive to. Like dairy is a food that you can be pretty sensitive to.
Yeah.
The better quality dairy that you consume, the less sensitive you will be. That's why having like ice cream or sour cream at Chipotle.
Her favorite dessert right here, ice cream gelato.
Yeah, you just might not feel as great. But if you have, a raw hard cheese or some
Yeah.
Greek yogurt, like these sources aren't as processed. So it's a good protein source that's not meat too. Some people don't want to eat all this meat, and you're still getting a complete protein. So pros and cons.
We get a little tease after the third game. After that break, we're going to look at some healthy pantry swaps.
Yes.
Oh,
So stay
I'm
with
yeah.
us.
very excited
You're going to
about
get to learn
this.
more. Now we got a little opening here for Borna Chorich, and he puts that return in the net. This is actually a rematch of last year, round of 32. Chorich won 6-2, 7-6. Today, round of 16. The winner will be in the quarterfinals. And Chorich is in danger of his first losing season since 2017.
Yes,
Right now,
there's-
he's 12-15.
Some of these losses are bad losses.
Head scratchers, yeah.
Yeah, he was with a coach Liam Smith that's based in Miami and actually stopped working with Liam just a couple months ago, and now he's with Franco Skugor, who's from Croatia, former top 20 doubles player. They just started working together a couple weeks ago, so, see what can happen here. But he did beat Sebastian Baez in the first round here, and Sebastian Baez won the tournament last year, so that's got to feel good for your confidence, beating a player that just won the tournament last year. And even though I don't feel like maybe Baez is a that hard court player that you feel like can make deep runs all the time on the hard court. But
Plenty
for
can.
Chorich, he's so consistent. He's so consistent from the baseline. But this is a matchup that both these guys are just going to try to take the legs out from under each other.
I love the Chorich backhand. And you know what was great about that win over Baez is that last year, him and Baez met in the semis of this tournament. The forehand's looking good right now.
Yeah, it is.
And Baez beats Chorich last year, semifinals Winston-Salem, and then they play again first round U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Baez beats him again.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where you
Couple
lose
weeks
2
ago.
matches in a row to the same player.
Yeah.
So that was a little good revenge here at the same venue in Winston-Salem.
Was that when he had the long hair, Chiz? Because
I
I'm
was
telling
gonna say
you,
you're happy you got it. Did you see him with the long hair?
He's not. He's
the
not.
long
He
hair
needed
is
to
there,
get
not
rid
long
of that.
hair.
The
Yeah.
moment I started seeing that thing start to get longer and longer and longer, we were like, oh man.
He needed to become more aerodynamic.
Exactly.
Lose
Chop
a
it.
little hair,
Slowing him
chop
down
it
a little
off.
bit. It was greasy. Yeah, we're happy to see him with the fresh cut. That's for sure.
Yeah, Rinky Hijikata, a few things they've been working on in his game is just trying to get the first serve a little bit bigger. Kind of throughout college and even when he started in the pro, it was more just kind of getting the serve in the court and then going to work. So now he's trying to get a few more free points off of the serve. He's lowering the toss as well, just to be a bit more unreadable. And also he's going for a few more shots in the rally earlier on because he's so consistent from the baseline, but he's now trying to be able to play a little bit more first strike tennis than get out of his comfort zone a little bit.
Lauren, did you play the Junior Slams? Coric, 2013 boys U.S. Open champ. He beat Tanasi Kokonake, so he's got good vibes there. I actually don't know if you did. I'm going to assume you did.
I did play the Junior Slams. The only one I didn't play was Wimbledon, which it was great because I was a grass
You're like,
court player.
"Get me off.
I was in
I'm not
summer
playing on the
school. Yeah,
grass."
I was like, I will go to Florida summer school and die in the heat than go to Wimbledon. But yeah, what a good experience and how fun.
And if you look up Lauren's past in tennis, we've been talking about the coaching, but maybe you can tell the fans at home, the forehand, he's known for the backhand, but the forehand is pretty sick right now.
Wow.
Tell the fans at home how you made it to play Roland Garros main draw. Was that a highlight of the career? How special was that?
Totally. I mean, I was so young. I was just turned 18. I had just committed to Florida. And now looking back, I remember Roland Thornquist at Florida being a little worried. Like if I was going to still go, 100% I was always going. Like there had no doubt in my mind. But back in the day, they had a playoff. So they took the top 16 American girls and you played for the wild card. So it was on clay, which was to my advantage. And just had a really good week and, had the week of my life and got the wild card into the French. So just flew over there with my parents and my coach and was high on life because I was going to summer school in a month and had nothing to lose and actually drew Nadia Petrova. I don't know if you're
Of course.
I was like, if I'm going to go out, I want to go out on a massive court. And I was like,
Which
just
court
want
did you
to
play
make.
on?
I played on Suzanne Langland. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Made an hour, so I was happy about that. Got a few games.
Kept looking at the clock. Like,
Yeah, I
wait a
was like,
second.
Just let me crack 60 minutes.
Speed it up a little bit. Speed up the clock a little bit.
Like I was waiting till time on the changeover and all of it. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, here's George. Early separation here. One of those players that takes one ball at a time. There aren't many of those. And
Yeah, you don't like the way he bought.
Yeah.
I'll never
his
get over
process
that.
is
I'll
something that
never
shows
get
you're not
over
like-
the pre-serve routine with him. You've never seen that.
Just rips those.
Yeah, but these are two guys who stay mentally locked in throughout the match, right? You don't see either one of these guys get too down on themselves, especially Rinky. Rinky never gets too down on himself. And, again, they're going to try to take the legs out from under each other here today. Exact same game style.
Zavida, you see that final score there, couldn't get the
Golly,
win. So he
Zach.
doesn't get into the top
That's a
100.
bummer.
But hey, he lost in qualies and got 2 wins via lucky loser. If you would have told him that beforehand, he would have signed up for that. And now he's getting ready for US Open. He's got the wild card there.
Yeah, he also got nearly $12,000 in his bank account. That's not a bad day.
Oh, you get a lot of naked pee with that. Naked pee is that's for the protein.
I knew what it was.
Oh, you knew that?
Vegan protein.
I was like, wait
I
a
was thinking
second.
those like huge tubs.
Give this guy some Skittles.
Oh my God! Well, we had Prakash on earlier. I call him P, and I
know.
literally was like, "Where is he
Yeah,
going with this?"
Pea
Well,
protein.
I know.
My
I need
nutrition
more
brain
coffee,
had you.
but-
I
Okay,
knew
you were
exactly
on
what you're
it?
talking about.
So
Yeah.
you had Prakash naked in your mouth.
Oh God, no! I just didn't know where you were taking
Been on
that thing.
sandwiches too long. I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea.
I think Nick and I were both
Oh,
like,
wow. Okay, we'll open the Skittles in a minute.
Well,
You need that sugar.
She needs a sugar.
we're going to be taking a break after this game, and on the other side, you're going to get your healthy pantry swaps. And we'll
Oh,
get
yeah.
all set up here with Lauren Embree, and we'll see if Coric can get another hold here, get out to that 3-0 lead. On Tennis Channel, top seed Hadaj Maya up a set and a break over Christina Buxa.
Are you a fan of having a Coke on the changeover? You know, some players do that when they need a little
I've
rush.
seen that. Yeah, if you really need it, like a swig of Coke, because the sugar, right? Marathoners do it too, triathletes, all the things. I personally would choose like fruit or like a gel, just because the sugar and depending on what soda, there's some chemicals and
Well,
stuff.
what kind of fruit?
beer. What about the beer post match?
Oh, the beer post-match. Yeah, if you're gonna have beer, there's wheat and gluten in beer, so it can just really bother you. But from a recovery standpoint, people sometimes swear by it.
Yeah.
It's not in my protocol,
Yeah.
but if you're gonna have a beer, you might as well just do it after a workout, right?
Favorite is
Balance.
Jesse Pagula just sitting there.
Yeah, Jesse.
Oh, he is
Wow,
feeling it. The
feeling
depth is measured perfectly, and the Croat is off to a great start here, looking for a second win over Hijikata in back-to-back years here in Winston-Salem. Good stuff on the other side. Keep it rolling. glorious Wednesday here on our second Sir coverage. We're in the 34th week on the tennis calendar. We're getting closer and closer to the main draw starting up for the U.S. Open. We've got qualies going on. Jeff, Danny, Nick, Lauren, Embree joining us for a couple segments. Whoa!
Yeah.
All right. So
Surprise.
we got a lot of stuff.
So crazy. Do you hear that? It's my stomach. It's great.
I know, me
I
too.
got
I'm
so
like, I want one of these
excited.
protein
Oh, you're
bars.
growling here. I got some really
No,
nutritious stuff here.
now that you brought that up and she's got this, she's winning on the
She's
left side
winning.
of the
She's
screen
winning.
here. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Look, I am somebody that has paid a lot of money to a nutritionist to do pantry swaps before.
Yeah.
So the fact that our viewers are getting to see this
Yeah.
for free, congratulations, everybody, because let me tell you, this is going to be fun. I can already tell some of these things. I'm excited to just go stock my own pantry.
Let's do it. Take it away, Lauren. What are
Yes,
we focusing on first?
yes, there's so much to focus on, but really, like, there's an alternative for anything that we want and crave and need, and even for kids as well. So just the biggest thing, I think, for Nutrition 101 is reading labels. Like, not even looking at anything else, but, like, looking at the ingredient label. So where do we even start? But I'll start with this
Yeah,
cereal.
perfect.
So cereals can be like a vice for some people, right? And to start your day with cereal that's not that nutritious, you're just gonna crash and feel tired and hungry. So pay attention to like the ingredient label. This is Honey Bunches of Oats, which is literally my college staple. Like, I would have it
I love Honey
it's
Bunches
so
of
good,
Oats.
right?
So good.
But the ingredient label not only is like 20 things, and there's a lot of chemicals and preservatives and inflammatory ingredients in here. So the alternative that I would recommend for kids, adults, you know, late night, get hungry is just 3 wishes, which like, look at their ingredients. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. You probably know what everything is.
Chickpea, I'm going to read it off.
Yeah.
Third one.
Tapioca, pea protein,
Yeah.
which we just talked about,
You
cane
can even see
sugar,
it on the side
natural
there.
flavors,
They'll
and
come
monk
to it.
fruit.
Yes, and yes, 6 ingredients, 3 grams of added sugar,
I'm writing it
delicious.
down.
Yeah, 3 wishes.
3 wishes.
Like no affiliation, but delicious, and they do a great job. Another helpful tip is when you're reading labels, like if you can pronounce it. If you can find it in the store and it's in your pantry, it's probably a check. If you cannot pronounce some of these things, you cannot find it in the store, and it's not in your pantry, like some of these things I can't even pronounce.
Yeah.
There's so many letters
there's so
that don't go
many.
together. and-
Yeah, so just try to find the next best option. And cereal is a go-to for people. So 3 wishes is the winner.
That's a good
Nice.
thing. So,
And-
Yeah.
Are you a cereal guy? Because
I am a cereal guy.
can't
The
buy
best.
cereal because I will eat the entire box in one sitting.
I like
Yeah.
cereal.
Well, we watch these players and they're eating protein bars on the side, on changeover. So we have a few protein bars here.
Yep.
What are we looking for?
Yes, and protein bars are great, like on the go as tennis players and any athlete. We're traveling a bunch, right? So we can't necessarily go home and like cook a meal. We would all love to, but to have something on the go that's not inflammatory and that keeps us pretty full. And a protein bar that I love is called Aloha bars. If you
Yeah.
guys are familiar or seen them.
Yeah, you got it. This one right here.
perfect.
Gluten, dairy-free,
Perfect, yeah.
Aloha bar. Another ingredient or another label to look for is added sugar. So we were just
yeah.
talking about this. There's only includes 3 to 4 grams of added sugar. A lot of these protein bars become like candy bars. I have an example of the popular Cliff Bar.
Oh my God, I love Clip bars, so I can't eat those anymore.
It's like eating a Snickers. isn't it?
Okay, so how many
because
added
look,
sugars?
how many
16 grams of
16.
added sugar.
and
Okay.
43, grams of carbohydrates.
Oh, geez.
So a protein bar should have 25 or less, or else it becomes almost like a Twix. Like you might as well just have a
okay,
Twix.
okay. All right.
This is kind of that.
Do that.
Okay, we can do that. She's
Jeff
all
is
over
the
that.
master of that. So good swap. Aloha for Cliff Bar. Like you're really just
Nice.
more bang for your buck if you just go a little bit cleaner.
And where can you get Aloha?
Yeah, these are
Foods?
these are everywhere. Whole Foods, Sprouts, HEB is in Texas, Publix, the East Coast, Wegmans. Yeah,
Got a couple
everywhere.
of those granola bar options, though. I think the
Yeah.
granola bar one is so interesting because
Yeah.
those are just everywhere. You go to the airport, they're just
Totally.
sitting
And are these
there.
good
You
ones
don't
as
know
well?
which one you're supposed to
So
grab.
this is a this or that. So the Luna bar I would try and avoid. Again, there's soy protein isolate. A lot of these vegetable oils too are highly inflammatory.
Oh, wow.
And they're loaded in some of these protein bars. So a swap for this would be like a Thunderbird, and this is at Whole Foods Sprouts as well.
Okay.
But the ingredients, again, read the ingredients: dates, almonds, cacao, cashews, Himalayan pink sea salt. Like
Thunderbird.
literally 6 things.
Love it.
You probably have them all in your pantry. You can read the label. It makes sense. Doesn't sound like a
Man.
science experience.
You see what's
Yeah.
on the end of that
What's on the end
ingredient
of it? Himalayan salt.
Is that your
He
favorite?
does. I love
Here, you can
Himalayan
have
salt.
it. Yeah.
I'm taking it.
But again, like 0 grams of added sugar because it's all whole foods.
Wow. Okay.
So actually, great option.
And the Kind
gonna be
Bar,
the best
from
one.
my understanding,
I
is
should've
no
grabbed
good.
one.
Kind Bar is no good.
I would say it's like a yellow light. If these are all green lights, Aloha, Thunderbird, these are red lights. Kind I'd
Kind
put in
better
the
than
yellow. Kind of like an empty calorie. Like I don't know if you're really full
Right.
off a
Gotcha.
Kind Bar.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of protein because there's a lot of nuts in it.
Now,
that.
I've got to be honest with you guys. I see something on this desk that I bring with me everywhere religiously.
I know.
It's gonna be
Every
a no.
single snack.
Oh.
It's a yes.
Yes.
It's a yes.
Yes.
What do we got?
Oh.
These are, oh my
Best.
gosh,
I
the
swear by
best.
that.
Chomp.
Chomp sticks.
No way.
It's a single serving beef jerky, and a lot of beef jerky can be super tricky because of the nitrates and the soy and the sugar and the wheat and the dairy. You haven't had these, Nick?
No, I haven't,
my
but
gosh.
I'm going.
Guys,
I'm going to get
I
it.
grab 20 of those and bring them to
Amazing.
Europe
Really?
with me. Yeah,
Because-
those are what
So
I
that's
have
bad
all
Slim
day.
Jim good. Kidding.
Yes, the alternative Slim Jim, though.
Yes,
exactly,
yes.
because it's just organic grass-fed beef. And quality of meat matters.
Yes.
We obviously want high protein, but quality of the
grass-fed.
sourcing, yeah. So these are 10 grams of protein, 0 carbohydrates. The best snack for kids as well. Like throw it in their lunchbox. They'll love
Wow.
it. So Chomps, yes.
All in.
Amazing company. But yeah, we can keep it going.
No, yeah, we keep it going. Look out, we have a game point here. If we do get a game, we just cut it off, we roll the music, we go to break, but we'll be back with more. But right now, we got a game point here for George. Chomps, I gotta
What
check those out. I
George is
love
doing is
beef jerky.
chomping the
They also
forehand
have-
right now. That's what he's doing.
Also have different
31, 40, 30,
on fire.
chomping.
I'm obsessed with Chomps.
What, are you
I'm
really?
obsessed with Chomps.
Okay.
There's a bunch of different flavors.
Teriyaki or
You can get them at Trader
Oh,
Joe's. I just grab an entire handful and take them to Europe because
Yep.
when we're in Europe,
Exactly.
it's really
Is he
difficult to
chomping
find
another
things that
forehand?
are.
I have more
Unbelievable.
for you.
Wow.
Serve plus one. George, keeping it rolling. 4-1 advantage. Just one break, though. Winner of this going to be into the final 8 here in Winston-Salem. Keep it here. We got more pantry
Chomps.
swaps going
Yes.
on.
Open that and try it.
Yeah.
I feel like
Can I mean, this is-
sample size that right
sample. She just won't eat it. He only eats candy.
We've got more options. You guys have lunch.
Let's keep you updated on what's going on. Tennis in the land. Hadaj Maya, another player that needed to catch a little form coming into the U.S. Open, and she got the first round win over the qualifier, Golubich. She was down 5-0 in the second set, wins 7 straight in the second, and she's got a straight set win yesterday, and now she backs it up with pretty routine here against the Spaniard, Kristina Buxa. Now, she lost first round last week to Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. That's why she's making it over here to Cleveland. She got 2 wins. She's going to take on the winner of Sophia Kenin and Clara Burrell. So keep you posted on that. And next on that court is going to be the Kenin-Burrell match, but that's not going to be for a couple hours. So slowing down on the schedule there in Cleveland, spin the globe, and let's get back over to Wake Forest University. Jeff, Danny, Nick, Lauren, kicking it with you. We're watching some tennis. George catching a groove. What is it the kids say? You're treeing or you're zoning? What did you prefer better between those two?
Treeing was something we used often. I
He's
feel
in a
like.
tree.
Yeah. The opponent always screamed that. You knew
Yeah.
it was a good day.
Yeah, I think for Rinky,
You learned that.
learning on the spot. I think for Rinky, I like this changeup, right? Use some drop shots, short slice, maybe try to bring Chorich in because right now everything's being played from the baseline and Chorich is winning those rallies. So you got to start changing the height. You got to bring your opponent in. And Rinky has that ability. He has that ability to do that, and I think he will.
Oh, certain volley there.
I hadn't seen him play a ton, but did get a chance to watch him play against Grigor Dimitrov in Montreal. It was a tough one for him, lost one in love. But interesting to see him out there in Montreal, winning some matches to get into the main draw. Someone that I feel like he has the game to be able to make deep runs in tournaments. What do you think it's going to take for him to start to do so?
Well, like I said, I mean, one thing they're working on is trying to get a few more free points on his serve, also on his return. He kind of just makes the return off the forehand. The forehand's maybe the weaker side, so he's trying to go a little bit bigger on second serve returns, be a bit more aggressive, not just kind of get the rally started and play. Just at least show your opponent something different at times, especially if he's up in the score, play a bit more aggressive because he's very comfortable kind of just rallying and staying in the rally, but be a bit more aggressive when you're ahead in the score. And, you know, he's one of those kids that he believes he can beat anyone any given day as well. So his belief system is already there. I remember when I practiced with him, it was his very first day in Chapel Hill, and I was still on the tour, and we hit for an hour, and he was already a pro as far as mindset was concerned. I mean, every ball meant something in the practice. He was so laser focused for an entire hour, and this was when he was 18 years old, and I just knew this kid wanted to play pro, and I was like, he's going to make it because of his mentality at 18 years old. He was already so dialed in every single shot, and that's what we see here.
This time last year, he was ranked 110. He's been inside the top 100 all year long. He's at the career high right now. Here's Chorich, step to the lineup 4-2. Before we get into some more swaps, how do you guys open bananas? Do you like the nub on the bottom, or do you like the thing up top?
Definitely the top.
What? The bottom? Who does that?
I do.
That's not surprising.
You opened the banana from...
Yeah, I was
For some
going to
reason,
say.
it doesn't surprise me with chips.
Does anyone here in the studio also open bananas that way? I'm telling you,
everyone put a
takes
thumbs
it
down. Thumbs down from everyone.
Yeah, everyone thought that's strange. You got taught wrong.
All right. Next item, please.
Okay, so
Okay, chips. So chips can be
I love chips.
Yes, and chips are such a good crunch like snack. The biggest thing with chips, if you guys have not had these, again, two ingredients.
Jackson.
Sweet potatoes, avocado oil, I lied, 3, and sea salt. And they're right here. So just look at the label at the bottom before you look at anything that's confusing up
Look
here.
at that, only 3 ingredients.
Sweet potatoes, avocado oil, Jackson's. Take notes, Danny. Jackson's. Because look, if you compare it to a different chip, and these
I've seen
sometimes
that one.
look like, oh, these are healthier. But again, canola oil, safflower oil,
that's a lot.
sunflower
There's a lot,
oil.
yeah.
Now you have 3 seed oils. And seed oils are pretty inflammatory. They're an omega-6 oil. We want omega-3s, which are
that.
avocado, olive, coconut. So again, it's a carb. We know it's a carb, but it's at least a healthier carb.
So go with that. Go with
Go
Jackson's.
with this is the winner.
Love
Yep.
it.
Pantry swap.
I've never really seen you eat chips. You're not a chip guy.
I love chips.
Oh.
With a cold sando, yeah. I love that.
You've never had chips here at the
Well, I
studio.
put the chips in the sandwich.
I have.
Yes.
I'm a
Yeah,
big
that's
chip
the
guy.
pledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right though. I don't eat just chips on its own.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
chips
yeah.
with the sandwich.
Yep.
We've got some wheat thins, which I'm obsessed with wheat thins.
Oh my gosh.
Are they not good?
I'm
Just
not.
tell me they're good.
Of course they're not. It's so obvious. They're good.
Yeah, they must be good. No.
Okay, again, the swap would be Simple Mills. They're so clean. Their ingredients are great because look, they're on the
Oh my
label,
God.
right? Same rules
can pronounce
apply.
those.
We can pronounce them. There's no added sugar. You're never going to get a lot of protein in a cracker. We know that. But wheat thins, the first ingredient is wheat flour and sugar. And keep in mind, the ingredients go based in order of how much is in that product. So if sugar is in the first 1 or 2 ingredients, there's a lot of sugar in that product.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So beware of sugar.
Where's my C4? Where's my C4?
We'll get into the energy drinks in a minute. That's a whole nother beast to tackle.
So the name of it is
Simple Mills.
Simple Mills.
They make cookies, crackers, chips, like great.
Boom.
Yeah, we're taking all the notes over
Yeah.
here.
If you go to your website, you offer so many different services. I saw it can be corporate talks, individual nutrition sessions. Obviously, you're a former athlete, and we talked about, look at that 100-meter gold medal sprint where it's hundredths of a second, right? Perfect example of like that extra 1%. You know, and for the tennis players, if you're in a deciding set, do you have the mental and physical, you know, strength to go the distance? I can see how this is huge. What about for a regular person out there that, for not
We
speaking
call
from
them NARPs, non-athletic regular people.
Okay, and they can be athletes, but
And then S.
but they don't really think about what they're eating. But they feel fine. They go to sleep. They sleep all right. They have a job. They wake up. Everything's to them feels fine. What can really dialing in nutrition? What can it do for those people?
Yes, and honestly, they probably feel fine because that's how they have felt for so long. So that is their normal. But when they start to pay attention to just sugars and ingredients and protein and minimize processed foods, it opens up a whole new world to them of just sleeping better, having more energy. Whether you're a busy mom or you have a lot of things to do throughout the day, you don't want to crash by like 12 or 1, or don't have an appetite, or the opposite, like just eating too much. You're maybe just eating the wrong kinds of foods. So really tapping into like, how do I get cleaner ingredients? How do I maybe cook at home more? How do I eat more protein in every meal? It really just helps clean up their diet, and it improves your body composition. So now they'll have more muscle mass than body fat, and they feel strong. Now they have more energy to actually exercise, where it's hard to tell a person who has no energy to go exercise. Well, the first thing to do is to change their diet so they have energy to be able to exercise.
You go for it.
Well, a lot of people are into sodas, Coke, Dr. Pepper, whatever it might be. We've got something here, this
Yes.
prebiotic soda. So what do we got here?
Yes, so again, alternative. Soda is obviously a bunch of sugar. I think the average American consumes like way north of 30 grams of sugar a day, which is wild. And a Coke has about 30 to 40 grams of added sugar in it. So if you guys are familiar with the brand
There you go.
Poppy,
That's your cam right there.
Okay,
Yeah.
Poppy, a great alternative soda, 4 grams of added sugar. It's a probiotic drink, but again, like you can read all the ingredients.
can.
There's 7 grams of carbs as opposed to like 40 in a Coke.
Wow.
And it still tastes kind of, this is the Doc Pop.
Tastes
I
really
pulled
good.
the Coke on purpose because people love Coke.
Yeah.
It tastes super good, cold on ice.
I'll have to try it.
Yeah,
I am
it's
definitely a
really
Coca-Cola
good.
girly.
Really good.
Yeah, so a great alternative. Another one is Olipop, which I don't have here, but
Yeah, same
there's now alternative ingredients or alternative brands for some of these like go-tos that we love.
I don't think a lot of people at home actually know what a probiotic is and what it means. What I don't. What
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much time do I have? But a
30-50.
We're good.
We're good. A probiotic really just helps improve your gut health. And usually in the functional space, when Nick asks what functional medicine is, it's really tapping into our microbiome. And usually a healthy gut is a healthy body. So if we can improve our gut health by incorporating more probiotic-rich foods, such as some foods we don't love, like sauerkraut, and
I was gonna say.
kimchi and cabbage and
Yeah.
Pickles
Is
and
yogurt?
fermented
Is
food.
yogurt
Yes,
a probiotic?
kefir and yogurt, they're all fermented foods. This is kind of labeled one. Kombucha is another like great alternative. So it really just helps you improve your healthy gut bacteria, which helps strengthen your immune system.
I
So
do
you're
have a
less
way to tie this back to the tennis because I was reading about Rinky, and apparently his secret talent is sleeping on planes, which Nick and I talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, you
It
guys
is
are good at
also
that.
our secret talent as well. But when you're on so many airplanes, a lot of traveling, a lot, especially for tennis players, tennis families, just athletic families in general, you're on the plane and in an airport quite often, and there are so many options and choices in that airport that just, I don't know what it is. When you walk through the door, I'm like, I must have a snack.
Yes.
I must find it. Where's the
I am
snack
now
going to come
hungry.
from? And
Yeah.
now that I'm sitting here and they're handing me a Biscoff cookie on the airplane, I'm certainly going to say yes to that too. So what are some of the things you can bring on a plane that you advise, or if you're already there, what are the snacks you can say yes to?
Yes, I mean, all of these, this or that's, like the chomp stick, honestly, pre-sample, like one individual packet proteins
Oh, yeah.
as well. Like just take this in your bag, mix it with water, ask for a cup at Starbucks, and you have a high protein snack that's not the cookie or some processed sandwich at the airport. So there's options, and this is what this is for, to just have go-tos all the time.
And what about the airplane food in general? Again, we were speaking about this last time, how I think it was about 5 years ago, John Isner told me airplane food was awful for you, so I literally do not touch it.
Yes.
What do you think about airplane food in general?
Yeah, I would agree with John on that one. The ingredients, the quality, the sodium, salt. You're also up high, so you're retaining a lot of water. You're just not going to feel as great. So if you can pull out some of these, like this we haven't talked about, but just a cleaner almond butter over peanut butter. Just like I've lost you.
I love almond butter. I love
the
this.
producer.
I love this. Yeah, just don't look at his face sometimes. Just don't look at it.
Yeah, so this will help you feel less bad when you get off the
Okay.
airplane.
I
Just
love,
having,
I love almond butter.
yeah,
You know,
and
those Justin's cups are amazing.
They're
Peanut butter
great.
cups?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
they're
it's
like
better
$2.50
than-
each, but they're good.
yeah.
But worth it. You're gonna feel better.
They're so good.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So just knowing some of this stuff, which is why hopefully we can get some
Justin's
better
almond
brands.
butter.
Yeah,
I like
individual
it.
packets.
Okay.
I know if I have a tub of almond butter, I'm eating the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or I'm eating more than a serving. So like
So
this
individual
is
packets.
safe. Yeah, like just one, though, just one.
Borna Coric has yet to face a break point. So we talked a little bit about sleep. For anyone that knows the tennis schedule, and if you work at Tennis Channel, and for all those grinders out there, I'm looking at a bunch of them right here. People
What
that are
is
working.
sleep? Do you know? Have you had sleep working at the Tennis Channel? Anybody?
A lot of people here that are directly related to the live product, maybe over 100 days a year, I would say over 60 or 70, they are having call times between 3, 4, and 5 a.m. So it's really impossible to keep a consistent sleep cycle. I'm sure I've lost years of my life working here for 5 years. I'm just kidding. I love it here. But for you, for your sleep, do you need you need to get to 5 or 6? Do you need to fall asleep before the certain time? What's your advice on sleep?
Sleep is number one. Like honestly, if you're not doing that, it's really hard to get anywhere. But again, schedules, obviously, we have to do certain things. I would say if you can get 7 to 9 hours as adults, that's the optimal time. And fun fact, like if you can actually get sleep on the earlier part of your sleep schedule rather than later, that's where it's the most optimal. So going to bed at 10, waking up at 6, even rather than going to bed at midnight, waking up at 10, you're going to feel better getting less sleep because you have better quality. So it's more about the quality and less about the quantity when it comes to sleep.
No eating
the hours.
too late,
And
correct?
try from a digestive standpoint, give yourself 2 hours. Hard to do. 3 is optimal, 2 is fine. If you eat right before you go to bed, you're just going to sleep not as great. Also depends what you eat.
Right.
And what you drink.
Well, we need to eat
Coric.
and drink whatever Borna Coric has been having because this guy's been on
No
a
kidding.
tear.
Yeah,
right
he
now.
is making it look super easy right now. He never faced a break point. 1 break is all he needed, 5 holds. We're going to come back for one more segment with Lauren Embree. More to learn, more tennis to watch. Let's go.
Let's go. We got to ask her about C4 as well.
And honey.
All right, a couple hours into our second serve coverage, and Chorich is taken Hijikata to the woodshed. That's another tennis term maybe you can add to the whatever. So you got
Woodshed,
treeing,
jot that
you got
down,
zoning.
hashtag.
No kidding.
And now the
You know,
woodshed.
you want to know the one term that I will just never understand why it's in tennis?
Talk to me.
Consolidating the point.
Consolidate the break.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Consolidating the break. Yeah. Why?
All right, well, I think Richard's going to bring over some of
Yeah,
our-
let's do it.
Oh,
This
God.
is
Go
just,
ahead and bring
I
it
think
on
we
in.
wanted
No,
to
we're
just
just sliding
make
right on
fun
here.
of Tennis Channel, I
Oh,
guess.
man.
Yeah, so these are Tennis Channel snacks. And let me tell you, this is the
Oh
same
my
on
gosh.
the road as well.
So here we go.
What do you think?
Go ahead and
The
go.
Rice
Okay, so
Krispies
we've got Ruffles, Skinny Pop, Oreos. What else do we have? in
Skinny
here?
Pop's
Doritos.
gotta be
Nature
Doritos.
Valley
somewhat
Crunchy.
decent.
granola
All right,
bar.
so Lauren.
Somewhat.
So Lauren, when we're looking at this right
There's the
here,
Kind
is there
Bar.
anything healthy?
Oh my gosh.
Pull out the Kind Bar and look how small it is first. Oh, is that the full one?
No,
Damn
this
it.
is the full. You were lying.
Yeah, you know the, think about the 3-inch.
So the full Kind Bar just.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Honestly, the best one in here, I would
Skinny
say, is probably the Skinny Pop, and then
I love
probably
Skinny Pop.
I do
second
too, so
place
much.
Jeff's Kind Bar.
Kind Bar. I don't really love them.
Because there's like at least a whole food in here.
Yeah.
Where's
Oh,
the
that's
whole
true.
food in here?
What's
Love those. That was the first thing I put in my
What is
system
that?
today. Mott's
I am going to
fruit
leave
snacks.
all of these snacks here for Tennis Channel, and we're just gonna revamp.
Wait, but what about Pop Tarts?
I'm gonna pass out.
Pop Tarts, just in case we need anything for
I
breakfast
think
at tennis
Nick
show.
is
We've
having
got
fun
Pop
egging her
Tarts.
on.
I gotta admit, I used to crush
My heart
Pop-Tarts in
rate's
high
so
school,
high.
So
but
did I.
nowadays, like, if I have more than a full one, I feel
Awful.
Okay, so,
regrettably
but for-
disgusting.
Thank
But for
you.
people that have the
Disgusting.
Nature Valley granola bars, is that still a thing anymore, or no?
Yes, no. These are like honestly maybe an on-court thing because it's just a simple sugar. Like
Not to mention you take a bite and it just explodes,
Explodes
everywhere. in your
everywhere.
yes,
lap, yeah.
brown sugar syrup, and not to mention you can have this for 10 years and it's not gonna go bad. That's a sign,
good,
that's
right?
That's good,
Jeff hasn't learned anything this whole show. But yeah, that's a tip. If you can have these things for months and months and months, I don't know if I'm gonna put
Wait,
that in my
here's a
body
trivia
all the
thing I had
time.
learned. What's the one thing in your pantry that doesn't have an expiration date?
Himalayan salt.
Peanut butter?
Honey.
Honey?
Honey? Oh, that's fun fact.
Yeah,
I
fun
didn't
fact
even
for
know
you.
I know that.
Yeah. We're gonna.
So what can Chiz do about this sweet teeth issue that he has here?
Oh, I
Skittles,
have
brownie.
something for you. Here.
Okay.
So this same brand that makes these crackers make healthier
Yeah.
chocolate chip cookies. So
doesn't seem
he's not.
interested.
Yeah, no.
He's not
Are those
buying in.
crispy? Those are probably crispy.
Yeah, they're not soft. But again, like you know all of these things.
No, but when he needs energy,
shot. Yeah,
when
yeah.
he
yeah,
needs
give him a
energy,
shot. There we go.
Okay.
There's the answer. We're
I love how
open. We're
all this, like,
open-minded
role
here.
playing, but I'm the biggest joke. Like, don't worry. I'm not, like, absolutely disgusting.
Okay, but one last
Gotta
thing.
pick up
We
somebody.
drink a lot of C4 here at Tennis Channel when we're just needing a
Feeling
little
low.
pick me up.
Yeah.
And so just wondering, I can't read a lot of these ingredients, so I'm assuming
And there's
now
some
that's
colors in
pretty-
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it says 0 sugars and 0 added sugars, so.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, an energy drink every once in a while, not gonna hurt
Okay.
us. Yeah, I just would not consume this every single day, as I wouldn't consume a lot of these things every single day. But if you really need it, it's better than a Red Bull.
All right.
So again,
Okay.
healthier swap.
Okay, one game in. Hijikata's got the hold. Before we let you go, are there any final thoughts? We know we can go to embreewellness.org. Are you going to get on the tennis courts anytime soon? You
she's
are on the
always
courts
on the
for-
court.
Yeah.
Oh, you
well,
are.
yeah.
I'm on the tennis
Okay.
courts for about an hour.
Okay.
As opposed to the 6
go.
that used
Like
to
your
happen.
RG first round match. That's your
Hour
lowest
6,
limit.
give me
Yeah.
some credit.
Hour 6,
Hour 6.
all right.
But yeah, just don't worry about writing or taking any of these notes. They're on my website. I have a full PDF version of all of the swaps just to help people like make it super simple. But yeah, we got to get on the tennis court sometime and hit some balls. You too when you
I
come to
know,
Austin.
and she's big into pickleball as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not I haven't fully gone there yet, but I do dabble.
We had Sam Querrey on the show. I bet you take him down. I bet you take him down.
Sam gets ripped on for his pickleball. I'm sure he would crush me.
Yeah, no, he's a good sport. So this is a
thank
perfect
you,
time.
guys.
So we appreciate your time. We're going to set up for David Goffin, and we just appreciate you coming
Thank
here.
you.
It's so amazing
It's
we
so
get a guest
great.
in studio. It's our favorite
Love it.
thing. So
Yeah,
thank you for-
and these are your guys to
Oh,
try out.
lovely,
and
yeah.
I'm
Green
taking them all,
room
by
has
the way.
a whole.
Yeah.
I'm the closest to them, so they're
Nick's
all
gonna
hot.
hog
I'm going
them
to give you the bad
They're
stuff.
gonna
I'll take
be
the
gone.
wheat thins, the loose
Yeah,
ball, whatever.
the cereal.
There'll be no fighting over that. That's all Jeff. Thank you guys.
We learned so much. Thank you so much, Laura.
Yes, thank
Appreciate
you.
You're the best.
All right, let's do it.
You're the best.
All right, Chorich here on serve, third set. We'll kind of repo here, 3 wide, as we
Reposition
see
here.
if Chorich can even up it
Let's
one
go.
game apiece.
Nice job.
Do you want me to put this?